Hello everybody, this is Simeonski. Welcome to another Rec Room tutorial. In this one, I'm gonna explain to you one of the mechanics that I used in my games and also show you how you can build this mechanic into your game step by step. Okay, this little game mechanic that will make animation more easy or more streamlined. I'm using this in my room, the Prodigal Son. Is what you see here. There's people walking around the city, like this guy here, this little punk guy walking around the city, and yeah, he's moving and he's walking around the whole town. You can meet him everywhere. How do you create an animation like this? It's basically a combined animation of two. It's two animations in combination, like the walking movement and that he's actually moving around the room. So how can we build this? Let's go to our Maker Room. Alright, we are in our Maker Room. The first thing you could easily do is use a Holotar for that. And just connect the Holotar thing to the animation and move it around the room. But this doesn't work very well all the time. Like most of the times it doesn't work at all. Especially if you have like more than like 2 or 3 holotars in your room. It might run into problems with showing the holotars, then it would sometimes not even show anything or something like that. And that's what we not want. I will use, for this I will use a character I created, Andrew. Let's use this guy and show you how this works. You can actually find all of these characters. There's like, I think, almost 50 of them, no, maybe 30. That could be almost 50. Of them that you can find on my profile in the store, and they are for free. You can get them and just use them. They are very simple characters, as you see. It's a little bit Rec Roomy, but it's super simple. But it does the trick. So, what I did with this character, this already set up to have like a body, 2 hands. And my first animation for this would be just the moving animation with the hands. So I am using, and before this was a little bit easier, I think, not really easier, but needed less things. But since the old animation gizmo is not working anymore, we will use the animation controller for this. Basically, we put an animation controller next to this little guy here. And we want to connect you connect to this top part here. We want to connect the hand. Oh, and what you've seen already, you see this is coming from here. And that's what we don't want for this example. We want to reset the pivot point. I'm not sure why it's not showing the pivot now. Oh, show pivot, it's showing pivot, okay. We want to reset the pivot point, this thing here, to be a little bit in the center of our selection, not far out, because then the animation will be harder to do. As you see, now it's far out. So we go to edit this part. You have to select an object in the middle, go to options and go to center pivot. So that's what we need to do for all of these guys, because if they are far out, you will run into problems with your animation. They normally shouldn't be, but I think they just moved out after some updates. And so if you have an old object like I do where it's far out, you will have to recenter before you animate. Okay, now we got it. Now the animation should work fine. We are connecting the hand, the body, and the other hand to our animation controller. It's not gizmo anymore. And then we can start the animation by clicking on this with edit. And then we see our menu already. What I like to do for this, I like to use my hands, but you can also use the maker pen. I like to put these hands in the place where I want them. Add an animation, and then you can just put them where they need to connect. Maybe move this guy a little bit up so he's moving. And you see he has a moving animation. Right now it's stopping in between, but we can easily change this by drawing away our maker pen, going into the animation controller. And this is now the settings, it's not the animation itself. If you want to see the animation, you can click here on animation controls, but for now we want to set it to ping pong. And as you see, nothing is happening. Why is nothing happening? Easy, because we haven't triggered this animation yet. I think the only way we have, we want to be on a loop. Yeah, but the only way we can start is by sending a signal, and for this we need an event receiver. Bam, put this in front. We will use, best is to use room loaded, but since I don't want to save the room in between this now, I'm using test event. This will only work if you're in the room, so use room loaded for this. And then, but now if I'm sending out the test event with my maker pen, he should start moving and continue moving. Let's see. Alright, there we go. You can change the speed also in the settings here, but now we also want him to move around the room, not just in place. How do we do this? It's basically, we basically have to combine two animation controllers. So I will put a new one next to this. And also clone this event here, so it's starting. Here we go. Yeah. So we also have to start this animation when the room is loaded, or in this case when we trigger the test event. Of course, you can also start this by pressing buttons, or like if people go into some trigger volume and then it starts, someone's walking up to you, waving at you, something like that. You could do a lot of different settings here. You see, you can change the speed, playback mode, even priority. Okay, but what we want to do here, simple thing, simple trick, you basically use the connect here, and instead of, and you want to connect this gizmo to this animation. So this means if I'm moving this, you can see the guy is moving with it. Like he's still making his movements of walking, but he's moving with it. So that's the way we can easily create an animation without having a lot of trouble. You go to the config, animation controls, and then you want to basically add frames here. So you go to add, have your frame, go to the tools, and then you only see the tools that can be used. And you already see here, I can now move this guy forward, so he's walking over here. Maybe he's turning a little bit because I want him to continue walking over there. And I basically just have to switch between this animation tab here, add a new frame, switch back to tools, move him and turn him a little bit. Go. And you have to fiddle a little bit with this. For example, what I could do now is for next animation he will just turn around and not do anything else. And you see also now he's turning around this this is now the center of the animation. So what you want to do, of course, to have it more easy, to have this maybe over his head directly or inside his body, but I would suggest to have it a little bit over the head, so it makes animating for you way more easy. To have a smooth animation here. But for now, just for the sake of showing. So you will have to fiddle a little bit how you want to turn this guy. Like I did it now, for sure it will not look very natural. But for me that's okay now. What you want to do as last step, since we are not having a loop, otherwise he will go forward and backward. Best thing is, if you finish, you just go to the first frame, go to copy, go to the last frame, go to paste, and this means the last frame is the same as the first frame, and so he will go around in circles now. So we can already test this. He's a little bit fast now, as you see, and also his movement looks a little bit odd, of course, but you will put the thing on top of his head, and then you have to try a little bit how the movement best looks. This doesn't look very well now, but it's just an example, so that's why I will not try to fiddle with this now. What I would just do, what I just saw, is that it's a little bit fast, so I don't want it to be this fast. That's why I changed the speed from 1 to maybe 0.1. So then he should definitely walk slower. And as you see, he stopped now when I can test it, but he stopped now when I threw away the Maker Pen. This is because this hasn't triggered yet. So what I want to do here to test it is send test event. Of course it will be, if you already built it the way you want to use it in the future, then you will have to use the set room loaded event, and basically you just save your room and this also loads the room, and then it will also start. Let me try if this works here. So we will not use the test events, we will do it like it should be. We use the room loaded event here. Okay, and then when I save the room, it should automatically load the room and also start our animation since the room is loaded. Let's see, it's taking some seconds here. Here we go. Now you can see he's moving quite slowly, and he has his movement animation. Yeah, that's how you can build a like combined animation in your room, which makes some things like this thing, for example, that people walk through your room, way more easy.
Thank you guys for watching. As always, like and subscribe the video if you liked it, or leave a comment. You can also leave comments on what you want to see more on this channel. So see you in the next video. Bye bye.